During this semester of field placement for ECCO, I have been in the suburban school of Douglas Road Elementary School in Lambertville, Michigan. During the semester, I've been able to learn a variety of different information through the students, staff, and also the location that Douglas Road Elementary School is in, which is suburbia. I have faced various experiences inside of both Mrs. Winterstein, who is my supervising teacher. She is a science, and every fifth grade teacher has to teach language arts to their students, so science, language arts, and she also has a math enrichment and intervention. And also Mrs. Johnson, I go into her class about 30 minutes per day, and she's a third grade science teacher as well. Throughout my field placement, I've gone through various actions such as administering tests, giving out papers, grading papers, getting together supplies, doing stuff with technology, and the main point is talking to the students as a whole, asking them what they like inside their classroom, what they don't like, what they like about their teacher, what their favorite classroom is, what they like doing the best inside their classroom, stuff like that. That's the main thing that I've been doing this semester. And in suburbia Douglas Road Elementary School, the students are driven to do the work because the teachers and staff push to them that this will help them in their future. I found that out with suburbia. That's a main thing with suburbia. The community of Lambertville, Michigan is a very tight-knit community as well. Mrs. Winterstein explained this to me, that the students and staff and the families are very tight-knit. And you can notice that inside the classrooms, and especially in the lunchroom for the fifth grade. I am in there every day for field placement, and I've never once seen the same people at every single table. These students go to different tables. It's not like my rural school where there was the typical preps, the jocks, the nerds, etc., stereotypes. It's not like that. These students go to different tables and sit with different people. They talk to different people during class, different people during recess. They don't talk to the same people every day. So you know this is a tight-knit community. And as a whole, it's a fun environment that encourages learning. They've had various activities inside classrooms, various assemblies outside of classroom. They decorate for the holidays. It's a very activity-based school. And by now it is obvious to me that suburban follows the Love and Logic. Like, this school follows Love and Logic. I personally have not seen much of the Love and Logic. I've heard about it due to my teachers and Mrs. Purrs, and I've heard about the other supervising teachers and their students doing it, but I haven't experienced much of it in my classroom. But it's allowing the students to explain what they did, not only to the staff, but they call up their parents and they explain it to them as well. And that's instead of the teacher explaining it, the student gets their story. And inside of Mrs. Winterstein's fifth grade classroom, the students have been walking around class a lot lately and just speaking out of random. So I noticed that respect is a big thing, especially in the higher grades in this school, that needs some help working with. So this next experience with my field placement happened during lunchtime. And these are various experiences that happened. When I first arrived at Douglas Road Elementary School, we talked to Mrs. Purrs at first. Therefore, we didn't go into the classroom as early as we normally do. When I first stepped into the lunchroom, I had not seen any of the fifth grade students. I had not talked to them, been in a classroom yet, or anything. So I walked in looking like a lost puppy, not knowing any of the students, not knowing who is good, who's bad, who's good to sit with, who's good to monitor, and so forth. I didn't know anything about them. So I stood there looking like a lost puppy for about a few minutes, just waiting for a student to possibly flag me over. And after about 2 minutes, this ethnically diverse girl and her friends group started waving me on over, so I went and sat with them, and that was my really first experience talking to these fifth graders, and I explained to them who I am, that I'm with ECCO, I go to BGSU, and I'm here as a student teacher for the next semester. Then one of the supervising lunch ladies came to me and explained to me, hey, we need you over here with these boys because they're a little troublemaking, and we need you to help monitor them to make everybody else's lunch experience better. And throughout most of the semester, I had been with various groups of boys and girls who are, trying to start trouble in order to impress different people. And through these groups, I have heard about various subjects like guns, Call of Duty, sleepover parties, Facebook, cell phones. And when I think about boys in 5th grade, like guns, video games, sleepovers, yeah, those are main things that they should be doing. However, Facebook and cell phones? Like, I personally did not get a cell phone or a Facebook till my freshman year in high school. And I understand that technology is erupting everywhere and younger people are getting these social networking sites and phones. But I never thought that this many 5th graders would have Facebooks and cell phones. And when I told them that I didn't get a phone till freshman year, they were all baffled. I explained to them that I got a phone because I was in sports and my parents needed to come pick me up. And they were like, no, that's not how it works in suburbia. We get a phone, like, now. So I was a little confused by that. And then another experience happened with that ethnically diverse girl and her group of friends again, another day that I was allowed to sit with them. They looked at my name tag, and the ethnically diverse girl was like, hey, what's your name? And I explained to them, hey, I'm not allowed to tell you my first name. You may call me Miss Fritch. And they were like, but we know it starts with a K because it's on your name tag. Can't you tell us? And I kept telling them, no, you can call me Miss Fritch. But they proceeded to guess names. And they said, well, if we guess it, will you tell me? And I said, no, you can call me Miss Fritch. But they continued to guess and guess and guess. They never got it right, but I obviously still wasn't going to inform them if they did. At this next part of my video, I'm going to explain different opportunities and experiences that I have faced inside of Douglas Road Elementary School. So when I first arrived in Lambertville, Michigan on September 9th, I was excited to start my field placement because I had never been to a suburban school before, so I was excited to know how it worked. As I entered the school, I was introduced to Mrs. Purrs, the student supervising principal, and informed of my schedule. At first, she informed me, personally, that I had 3 recesses. 3 recesses? I was confused. I thought that I was supposed to be in the school to teach, not to supervise recess. However, during the first day of the suburban school district, when I was outside for 3 recesses in a row, 1st, 5th, then 2nd grade, then kindergarten, I noticed something different. I hadn't even been inside a classroom yet, and I noticed that the students were acting different. However, after this first recess, I was fully ready to get into the classroom. During our next Thursday field placement, however, I was informed that I only had to do 2 recesses, the 5th grade and the kindergarten now. And as I had fully seen the children in their classrooms, and I have now seen them at recess, I fully started to realize why it was different. These students act different. They act like their normal self, out with their friends, playing, having a great time. And I feel as if I thought this was going to be a bad experience being out for recess for that long, but I've gained a lot of knowledge throughout helping out with this recess than I would have just been in the classroom. I've seen these students in an environment where they can just be themselves. They don't have to learn. They can be themselves, run around, have a good time, hang out with their friends. I've seen them in a different environment that most teachers do not get to experience. And I just thought that was an interesting part of my field placement. Throughout this semester, I have faced various learning experiences, not only from the 5th grade, but from the 3rd grade students and staff as well. Throughout Mrs. Johnson's class, I have done various things such as go around to the classroom making sure the students are getting the right answer, fixing books, organizing accelerated reader books that they had bought from a magazine and putting them with the buying slips so each student could receive their books, and even giving students different tests and or helping them with worksheets. And one main thing that clicked with me with this 3rd grade is the fact that I got to help out with students with special needs. Not heavy special needs, but speech and they're just a little bit slower than the rest of the students. So one day I walked into Mrs. Johnson's class and she informed me, hey, I don't need your help here, but I have a friend down the hall, a 3rd grade math teacher that could use your help today. So she walked me down there and I entered the room and automatically I got a smile, which is a nice experiment. And she explained to me that she had a young boy who needed help with his math, and she introduced me to him and we went out in the hall and I helped him with various things such as what times what equals 1,000, what plus what equals 1,000, like 9 plus what equals 11, stuff like that. And the best part of helping out this special needs boy was the smile that came upon his face when he finally got the right answer. That was the best part. And another experience I actually had in Mrs. Johnson's room with special needs students. I walked in a few weeks ago and she informed me that they were going to be taking a test on Newton's Law and forces as well. And she said that she had 2 students that needed extra help and she wanted me to go in the hallway and help administer a test for them. And during this test, I was supposed to read out the questions and answers, explain to them further if they had further questions, and also helping them with their spelling in order to increase their spelling level. And once I got out in the hallway with these 2 students, the boy showed me the room in which they go to. He said, "That's the room in which we go to. We have special help with our grammar, spelling, and such in there." And then the girl's like, "Yeah, we have classes that help us speak right." And that reminded me of my experience as a young child. I used to have to take speech classes, just a few classes during 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. I had to take a few speech classes, and I informed them of that. And I thought that it would be a good way to show them that, hey, if you keep striving to do this, you keep being your best, you will get to a point where you won't need this anymore. So I thought it was cool that I could help them with their future. And I figured that these special needs students are going to help me with special needs students in the future. I'm going to remember them and think back to things that worked with them and things that didn't work with them in their learning as well. When I first entered Douglas Road Elementary School in suburbia Lambertville, Michigan, on September 9th, I had mixed feelings about how this situation would go. Like stated before, I've never walked into a suburban school. I don't know how they run, how they work, how the students learn, how the teachers teach, etc. I didn't know anything walking in. But also, like stated before, I learned that the students and staff have very close-knit connections with each other. And this makes the learning process not only seem like the students are learning, but the staff is learning along with the students, which makes the learning experience for the students even better. And I have learned many tactics from the students and staff here at Douglas Road Elementary School, but in addition, I've learned ways to make myself a stronger teacher. For example, I had never seen any downsides about teaching. I have seen now that your students may not listen to you. There's going to be days where your students are wild. There's going to be days when your students need extra help, etc. And now that I've seen the downsides, I know that the good sides need to surpass the downsides in my mind. You can't look at all the down, or your teaching career is going to go by really fast. You're going to be there for 1 or 2 years, and then you're just going to stop. You have to look at all the good sides, hey, I'm teaching kids, I'm inspiring them, I'm helping them with their future, I'm helping them achieve their goals, I'm helping them do something to better their lives. Instead of looking at all the bad things that's going on in your classroom, look at those type of things. And being in the suburban environment, it's made me realize that a good classroom needs to have a mixture of rural, suburban, and urban environments in order to enhance the learning experience for all of the students as a whole. And in conclusion, I plan on using these different lessons and methods that I've learned through Douglas Road Elementary School in the various schools that I visit in the future, and mainly the main school that I teach in the future as well. And I just want to help my students achieve their goals through my lessons. Thank you.